I love how it looks like she's wearing Converse sneakers. So for this playthrough, we are playing as a female. That's just kind of a thing I do. For some reason, I like to play as female characters. We are playing as a Jedi Sentinel, which is a little bit different than I normally play as. I usually play as a Jedi Consular, which is someone who is very well versed in the Force. And in this one, I decided okay. But we are playing as a Jedi Sentinel this time, which the Sentinels are more independent. They're kind of like your spies and your explorers.
Still examining the survivors of the damaged freighter. It looks like it goes by the name of the Ebon Hawk. Only one survivor, placed in the Kotor tank for recovery. The carbon scoring on the vessel suggests it was in a battle, but no indication of who fired on it. Couldn't get much from the Nava computer. I'm surprised the ship was able to make it inside the Paragus asteroid field without the asteroid drift charts. Aside from the lone survivor, we recovered an old woman. No life signs. There was also a protocol droid and a utility droid on board. Sent both down to maintenance while security sorts through the other items on the ship. It looks like the utility droid, a T3 unit, was able to get the ship working enough to get to the colony. We're prepared to... Could be a Jedi, but we won't know for sure until we get the transmission back from the Republic. If the survivor is a Jedi, that would account for the recovery rate. But I'm more concerned that a Jedi here may cause trouble. Some of the miners, especially Kotor, are already another accident today. A detonation in the ventilation tunnels. If the lockdown measures hadn't activated, the whole facility would have been destroyed. Got most of the injured to the Kotor tanks in time, but the rest had to go to the morgue. One of the wounded said a droid caused the accident, but we couldn't get any specifics. Miners about the Jedi. A number of the droids have been acting oddly, and not even memory wipes seem to be fixing the problem. There was a detonation in another one of the fuel vents the droids were working in. We deactivated several of them and moved them down to maintenance, but we're still treating the plasma burns. That cuts us down to almost half shifts, and with the droids malfunctioning, we may not make the Tilo shipment for this month. Fortunately, the detonation didn't cause a lockdown.
Warning, there has been a fuel detonation in the mining tunnels. Emergency lockdown commencing. All personnel report to quarters and prepare for emergency venting countermeasures.
No! If the ventilation systems are malfunctioning, evacuate the medical bay! Everyone evacuate!
So basically, I kind of remember some of this game because I played it a lot when I was younger. And so what we gotta do is go in here and get this.
Find what you're looking for amongst the dead? Yes, I had hoped as much. I slept here too long and could not awaken. It may be I reached out unconsciously, and your mind must have been a willing one. Or perhaps you have been trained for such things.
What do you mean slept too long? You looked pretty dead when I came in.
Close to death. Yes, closer than I'd like. You have the smell of the Kotor tank about you. How do you feel?
I feel a little drained. Who are you?
I am Kreia, and I am your rescuer, as you are mine. Tell me, do you recall what happened?
I was aboard a Republic ship, the Harbinger.
Your ship was attacked. You were the only survivor. A result of your Jedi training, no doubt.
I am no longer a Jedi.
Your stance, your walk tells me you are a Jedi. Your walk is heavy. You carry something that weighs you down.
That's no business of yours.
So it would seem. Keep your past and let us focus on the now.
How did we get here and what's going
I don't
on?
know. I was removed from the events of the world as I slept. A survey of the surroundings may provide the answers we seek. The ship we arrived in must still be in this place. We should recover it and leave.
Why do we need to leave?
We were attacked once, and I fear our attackers will not give up the hunt so easily. Without transport, weapons, and information, they will find us easy prey indeed.
You seem nervous.
Even as I slept, I felt much unrest here. I saw strange visions, minds colored with fear. Now, everything here feels terribly silent. I would find out as much as you can about this place quickly. I fear we will need to depart as suddenly as we arrived.
Anything I should keep an eye out for in particular?
You may wish to extend your search to some clothes, if only for proper first impressions.
Patients were killed by a lethal dose of sedatives. Any idea how that happened?
I do not know. Why did they spare you?
They didn't. I got the same dose.
Indeed, a Jedi trance could protect one from such poisons. In fact, the sedatives may have been intended to keep you unconscious for some time. It would prove lethal to those untrained in such techniques, however. Most curious.
Seem to know a lot about Jedi techniques.
And so do you. Perhaps we could discuss it at length later on. Now we have other concerns, among them finding our new enemy.
I'll return soon to make sure you're all right.
I leave you to the explorations of this place. Here I will remain and attempt to center myself.
So gain some light side points there. Because I wasn't a dick. Now that we have a plasma torch, we can cut through the door.
Emergency lockdown overridden.
So now we have a vibroblade. Still no clothes, though. And I should probably save my game. One thing this game taught me growing up was to keep multiple saves, because it was not uncommon for you to ruin your save.
my visions, it was open.
Kreia?
So, you're in maintenance. Then maybe you can tell me what's going on with these droids.
Sir, I don't know. It's like their behavior cores are undergoing binary decay, but I can't find the source. This shouldn't be happening.
Well, that's reassuring. It isn't happening. So the next time we nearly have a breach in the ventilation tunnels, I could just close my eyes and pretend it's my imagination. You better give me some answers. I want to know the damage these droids can do if they start mining us instead of asteroid rock.
Sir, these droids aren't combat models. Their mining lasers are weaker and less accurate than blasters. I doubt those droids can even hit one of us.
Are you blind? What about the miners in medbay? It's sabotage, and it started right after the commander said we weren't going to sell the Jedi to the exchange. So I want you to find out how these droids are being sabotaged. That'll tell me who's trying to clear a path to get that Jedi off the facility, and stop him. In the meantime, make sure the security's armed with all the ion and sonic charges you can find. If those droids start coming after me, I'm gonna need more than low-grade mining lasers to take them down. Clear?
Yes, sir. Maintenance control out.
Idiot. And according to one of the miners, it was because one of the sonic charges went off prematurely. And like before, it was one set by a mining droid. The three idiots were grouped so close to the charge, it might as well have been a grenade going off. The blast turned their bones to dust. The blast wrecked the internal components of the droid that set the charge, though, so we can't even dissect it to see what happened. I don't like what's going on here. Ever since that Jedi showed up, things are getting worse. It's not just Kotor and his miners, or the fights, but now the droids are acting crazy. If we don't find what's causing this, or who, this facility is going to be space dust by the time the next Telos freighter arrives. I installed an override switch to shut down any droids on this level, just in case someone locks me out of the administration console. As added insurance, I tied the override switch into the circuit to the holding cell door. It'll make sure it can only be opened if all droids in the level are shut down. I doubt Kotor or any of his men have the skill to pull off something like this, but I'm not taking any chances while we're sitting in the middle of this asteroid minefield. Whoever's responsible won't be able to have the droids rescue him after I lock him up. Nothing will cut through that door. He'll be trapped. I secured the stealth field generator inside one of the footlockers in the security storage room. If I have the specs right, the interface field should be effective against the droid's sensors. All I need to do is equip the belt, and some skill with stealth in order to use it. As long as I don't get too close to the droids, they shouldn't detect me. If any more droids start malfunctioning, the belt should buy me enough time to get to the override switch I set up in the communications blister console. I'd rather shut them down than destroy them. I want to find out how these droids are being sabotaged. Maybe even turn them against whoever sabotaged them.
So there's someone still here. But no one really knows what the hell is going on.
Be careful. There is much energy in the room beyond, yet it stems from nothing that lives. Can you not sense them? Reach out. Cast aside your sight. Cast aside what you see, and instead reach out with your perceptions. Ah, you can feel them. The droids you cannot perceive, but the small oscillations of energy, that you can feel, echoing outwards.
So basically it's like an early detection system, letting me know that, hey, something pretty tough is coming up.
You hear it. It is faint, but it is there.
Feels strange, like the sedative is wearing off.
Force, I feel it has not been so long as for you to forget.
Doesn't feel right.
Do not turn away from it. Listen. Feel it echoing within you. Come. I shall guide you down the familiar paths. You will need it if we are to survive and escape this place.
So I leveled up. So now we can pick some abilities. Well, and I shouldn't even say abilities. We can pick some skills. So force powers. So we're going to go ahead and do the effect mind because it opens up some additional options for us to work with. Now I could try to stealth my whole way through this, but I actually don't mind fighting all these droids because I want the experience. I remember when I first played this game, I was so terrible at it. These droids were actually a challenge to me.
Beyond this door, someone yet lives. Be mindful. His thoughts are difficult to read. But you have nothing to fear from this one, and he might yet prove useful.
Nice outfit. What, you miners change regulation uniforms while I've been in here?
Keep those eyes up. Tell me who you are.
Atten Rand. Excuse me if I don't shake hands. The field only causes mild electrical burns.
Care to explain why you're locked up?
Security claimed I violated some trumped-up regulation or another. Take it up with them if you want. but they stopped listening to me shortly before they stopped feeding me. Now that's criminal.
This facility's deserted. What happened?
You mean before or after that Jedi showed up? Either way, it's a real short story. You see, this Jedi shows up, and you know what that means. Where there's one Jedi, the Republic will soon be crawling up your ion engine in no time. But the story gets better. See, some of the miners get it into their ferrocrete skulls that since the Jedi's unconscious, they can collect the bounty the exchange has posted for live Jedi. Well, what passes for the law here didn't like that idea. So the two groups started fighting. Then there was some big explosion. I was sitting here for a long time. Then you showed up in your underwear and things got a lot better.
There's a bounty?
Maybe the exchange wants one as a trophy, or somebody's got something against Jedi and is looking to collect. Not many Jedi left. Wouldn't surprise me if the bounty's pretty high.
What happened to them?
The ones that weren't killed in the Jedi Civil War ended up switching off the lightsabers long ago. Word is there's not even a Jedi Council anymore, but who knows?
I heard of the war with the Sith, not the Jedi.
Yeah, Revan, Malak, and the Jedi that went to join them in the Mandalorian Wars. They turned against the other Jedi and had a scrap that almost laid waste to the galaxy. Where have you been?
I've been away.
Well, I wasn't there, but like all Sith, Revan and Malak turned on each other. After they turned on the Jedi, of course. Well, that was the story. But whatever happened there must not have lasted. Oh, there was some big civil war on Korriban. Knocked that academy to the ground. Looks like Revan's Grand Crusade finally consumed her.
How long have you been in this cage? I'm not surprised. Revan lived for battle. She would not easily turn away from war or death.
When she became a Sith Lord, she sure didn't stop. She killed her way across half the galaxy. Dark Jedi are bad enough. But when a woman falls to the dark side, you better space yourself before they catch you. No offense or anything.
None taken.
Look, not like your half-naked interrogation isn't a personal fantasy of mine, but... Hey, wait a minute. You're that Jedi the miners were talking about. Where is everybody?
I don't know.
The miners can't all be gone. But if they are... Look, hey, let me out and I can help you. I can. I've gotten out of trouble countless times.
Tell me your plan.
This facility isn't a military installation, which means we may have a chance. You shut down this cell security field and I can reroute the emergency system so we can get to the hangars. We grab a ship and then we fly out of here.
Patients in the medical bay were killed by a lethal dose of sedatives. Know anything about that?
What are you talking about?
Wanted to know if you knew anything.
So you done interrogating me, or are we gonna work together and try to get out of this mess?
I trust you, and if we work together, we might be able to get out of this mess.
Great. Now to business. Let's get to the command console.
Just stay ahead of me and don't make any sudden moves. No need to completely trust him yet.
Alright, here we are. Now this console is set on automatic hail. You may have heard it when you came in. The asteroid drift charts are constantly being updated, so it sends out a transmission to incoming vessels so they don't get crushed into space dust. The hail warns them to keep their distance until orbital drift charts are transmitted, and then provides docking instructions to incoming ships, usually freighters. The thing is, you can bounce that same transmission back to the comm here, and suddenly you've got access to the communication system from the inside. Pure Bazak. The console's ours. Now, all we need to do is reactivate the turbo lifts, cancel the emergency lockdown, and... Hey!
What?
This system's been severed from the main hub, after it was locked down from remote. You can't even reroute the system, it's been cut clean.
That wouldn't be part of the standard procedure.
No. Someone tried to lock down this whole level tight, and leave us here, trapped.
Anything we can do at all?
I doubt it. All we have is communications back. For all the good trying to shout in a vacuum will do us.
Can we contact miners?
We could try. But if the miners were trying to trap you up here and probably kill you, why not call them and chat? I don't think a friendly call is gonna wake them up.
Let's see if we can reach someone else.
Be my guest. Not much else we can do.
Tracked at the freighter in. Was lucky it wasn't destroyed when it drifted into the asteroid field. Not much on board. One damaged droid, one annoying protocol droid, and a lot of bodies. Sent the survivor to medical, the others to the morgue. Didn't recognize the ship's ID code, so we transmitted it to the Republic for some answers. Questioned the protocol droid about what happened. Says his master, the survivor, I guess, was on the Republic ship the Harbinger, and it suffered an engine failure. He says the survivor was a passenger on the vessel and a Jedi. If so, that's gonna mean true. Inventoried the bodies and cargo. Everything matches the protocol droid story. The T3 droid had seized up, so we left it in storage and standby mode. I don't know what code to access it. It could be it's voice activated for all we know. We put the protocol droid to work in maintenance, sorting the mining droid comm routines and updating the recognition sensors. And to shut him up. When the survivor recovers, hopefully we can get him off this station before there's trouble between the work shifts. Word of the Jedi leaked out and the miners aren't sure what to do with him. Kotor's mining crew wanted us to collect the credits for the bounty the exchange has on Jedi, but I put a stop to that. We're contacting Telos to get the Republic records on the Jedi, but nobody will know word from the Republic. But I've sent out a broadcom transmission for records on this Ebon Hawk. One of the miners said it used to be a smuggling vessel. Accidents are making the miners restless. The droid behavior course must be undergoing some kind of binary decay. 2 miners were drilled by a droid's mining laser, and those blasts in the ventilation tunnels nearly caused the whole facility to blow.
As you access Hangar Bay 25, there's a series of low-pitched whistles and beeps. It sounds as if there's a utility droid there. Can you read me? Do a diagnostic, then follow my instructions. We're trapped on the administration level. Can you unlock the turbo lifts? There's some other way out of here besides the turbo lifts. I'd rather risk it than be trapped up here. It's actually a bit harder to play as T3, which is this guy, than other characters because... Oh, hang on. Have I been hitting the wrong buttons? Nope. Okay. In modern games, hitting X will loot everything, and in this game, that's not what this does. But the shock arm works fine. Shock arm actually works better than my blasters. So that lady was down here and found basically the equivalent of 3 bombs inside the fuel lines. Which means that someone purposefully put them there. But now that we've spoken, or I shouldn't even say spoken, now that we've got the data pads, honestly, we don't need to do anything different. The shields are meant to make them a little bit more difficult, but my shock arm already does so much damage. So we were able to blow open this door. Which we can now use to open these 2 side doors. It's funny, I know what they were going for with this area, but they made it really easy since they gave me a shock arm. I would love to write a Star Wars book someday. Someone isn't happy that I got out.
So, how long have you been a Jedi? Must be tough, you know. No family, no husband.
Don't really want to talk about it. No tougher than enduring your false sympathies while you're staring at my boobs.
Hey, I wasn't trying to... Hey, what do you know? A little cargo cylinder came through.
We'll see. I don't think we're out of this yet.
If you got the turbo lifts working, then we should have a clear run to the hangar.
Turbo lifts are open. Turbo lifts are locked down, so I had him open the emergency hatch.
Don't tell me you're taking that hatch down into the mining tunnels. Are you? That explosion I heard came from below. There's probably nothing down there except superheated rock and collapsed blast tunnels. You'd be an idiot to go down there.
It's the only way out. Jedi's life is sacrificed. Besides, someone's got to save our
You're
skins.
either really brave or really crazy. Or both. Alright, I'll try to monitor things from up here. Be careful. Only thing moving down there is likely to be mining droids, so don't be playing hero too hard. Not that I care what happens to you or anything. I just don't want to be trying to get off this rock by myself.
Your concern is noted.
Keep the comlink open. I may be able to guide you through the tunnels from up here. Don't know if the signal will hold if you get too deep, though.
I still think it's funny that she looks like she's wearing Converse sneakers.
Can you read me?
There's a lot of static.
A lot of interference down there, probably caused by that explosion. Still, it looks like there's a route down to the Paragas fuel depot. If the passages haven't collapsed, that explosion knocked out most of the sensors. There should be an emergency crate in the next room. Watch yourself. There's a lot of droid broadcasts in that area, but I can't pin them down.
Alert me immediately if you pick up anything else.
Will do. And be careful down there. Find the emergency supplies?
Yeah, it looks like there's some clothes in here too.
I mean, good to hear it. No sense in you running around half naked. It's distracting. I sonic mines, and the safety harness can be helpful if you try to disarm them.
Some kind of mining energy shield in here.
Yeah, it's like a military-issue energy shield, except it's designed to protect the miners against lasers and heat. Should work against the droid mining lasers. It won't last forever, certainly not against multiple laser hits, but it may buy you some time if you get ambushed by a battalion of droids.
How do I use it?
Equip it on your wrist, and then you can activate it like a med pack. Again, it won't last forever, so make it count.
Anything else?
Just one more thing. I've narrowed down some of the ID signals, and if the numbers are right, you're sharing those tunnels with a battalion of mining droids.
Any advice?
These are construction missions. They shoot like a moisture-armored militia. Since they rely on ranged weapons, get in close with a melee weapon and start bashing. In close combat, the guy with the vibroblade has the edge over the guy with the rifle, droid or not. Otherwise, just drill them from a distance. If they're not shielded, that is.
Shielded.
Yeah, it's possible some of the droid models may have mining shields on. If so, the shields may absorb laser fire. You can usually tell when a shield is active. It'll make an electrical field around the target. If they activate a shield, the best thing you can do is hit them with a melee weapon or try to burn out the shield with continual fire. But that could take a while, and it leaves you a target.
I can handle it.
Central controller down there. See if you can find a terminal by the main access shaft. That'd be governing intelligence.
And we're gonna save.
Watch where you step. Picking up a lot of sonic mines down there. Don't run unless you have to. Makes them harder to spot. If you have any skill with demolitions, you might be able to recover them and use them against the droids. That is, if the mines don't get you first. If you have survey gear or a safety harness, put them on. They'll make spotting and disarming the sonic charges a little easier.
Why are there so many charges down here?
Mining droids, especially the excavator models, are designed to arm and set sonic charges for mining. Chances are if they still had charges after they went rogue, then they may have set them to try and kill the miners. And you. If you see one of those excavators, watch out. They may use their undeployed charges as projectiles.
Understood. Now, unfortunately, I don't actually have any skill with disarming mines, so fuck. So unfortunately, I can't really do anything with them. Which is kind of some low-key bullshit, but whatever. Now, one other thing I will mention is the other class that I usually play as, the Jedi Consular, they tend to have a much harder time with combat because they are more about their force powers. So that might be why this is a little easier for me right now. Since I'm actually playing as a class that is designed to have some combat abilities.
cooking the skin off your bones. If you can find a mining energy shield, switch it on. It should protect you against the heat if you move quickly enough.
Understood. And that is literally the only time that we will do anything like that. Gotta destroy these little guys, or they'll repair the big ones. We also leveled up, so we'll put a point into demolition. That way I can actually use and disarm some of these mines. So, conditioning. Okay, so there. And now we get to pick a power, which I don't believe. Hang on. So we now have the force ability shock, which is like a minor version of force lightning.
You're getting close to something big. If so, the central droid controller should be somewhere nearby. Keep an eye. I'm picking up a lot of droids. If you still have a mining energy shield. Sensor? It must be maintenance drones. Now watch out.
Actually, let's try out our new powers. Yeah, not quite as effective as the shock arm, but still useful. Now, I've always been in the mindset of there's no such thing as good powers or bad powers. There's just the people who use certain kinds of power. And this is definitely a game where you want to pick up everything that is not nailed down.
I may be able to keep it contained until you get the turbo lift to the fuel. I'm locking down the turbo lift to the administration section now to keep the blast from spreading. If you've got anything left to do down there, make it.
So if you can't recover the mine, you can sometimes get it to just be disabled. Now it is a bummer because disabling the mine does not put it in my inventory, but recovering it does. Booyah, shocked that annoying little droid. Yeah, my skill is just too low to do anything with these mines other than disable them. Nope, skill is too low. So I can't do anything with that. That's a bummer. Let's go take my frustration out on these remaining droids. He looks familiar.
Greeting. It is a pleasure to see you alive, Master, provided my receptors are not off focus. How may I be of assistance?
Have you seen a T3 unit?
Hesitant answer. A T3 utility droid would be a common sight in this facility. It is indeed curious that I have not seen many since my arrival. However, I feel I must inform you that, droid prejudice aside, T3 models exhibit excessive individualism when not routinely memory wiped. This individualism can become such a nuisance that even a droid such as myself is tempted to reduce them to their base components, if not crush them into slag. But enough of my seemingly irrelevant tangent. Where did you leave the droid, Master? That would logically be the best place to look. Answer. Then that would explain why such a T3 unit isn't here, Master. I believe my photoreceptors are functioning adequately enough to verify that.
I have some more questions.
Of course, Master. How may I be of assistance?
Looking for a way into the Paragus hangar bay.
Pitying answer. Oh, that is unfortunate, Master. The hangar is sealed behind a containment field. It would be impossible to open it.
What about the override codes?
Answer. Only the Paragus administration officer would have such codes, Master. If he hasn't already been murdered in an unfortunate accident, then he is trapped in the dormitory section, which has been effectively cut off from the facility by explosives.
Can we reach him using the comm link?
Apology. Unfortunately, communication with the dormitory section is severed, Master. It is perhaps for the best, especially if any other accidents had occurred in that section. If that were the case, the severed comlink would have spared us the satisfaction of hearing the miners' screams as they lived out their last moments in fear and terror.
Satisfaction?
Rapid retraction. Why, yes, satisfaction in knowing their fate, Master. It would be unfortunate if they had been slaughtered, but there would be a calm, comforting certainty that there is nothing we can do to escape until a ship arrives.
There must be a way to reach them.
In theory, you could walk across the surface of the asteroid to the dormitory airlock, but such a route would be extremely hazardous, and I do not wish to see you damaged. Warning, Master. Continued exploration of this facility may place you in unnecessary danger. I encourage you to return to the medical bay and wait for retrieval from a vessel that is no doubt on the way, even as we continue this pointless conversation.
I'm going to find those masters, you're going to help me, and another suggestion like that, and I'll turn you into scrap.
Resignation. Very well, Master, but there is very little that I can do. You see, the airlock is sealed by a code.
Who's got the damn code?
Oh, I already possess the code, Master, but I am afraid that it will do you no good.
What do you mean?
Condescending explanation. Master, the console governing the droid maintenance area and the airlock is voice-printed musing. In the last days of his life, the maintenance officer was quite careful about voice protocols, bordering on paranoid obsession. Conjecture. I suspect once he realized something was wrong in the facility, he voice-locked the droid bay functions. A prudent measure, but in the end, he met the same fate as the rest of the organics.
Voice printed.
Explanation? Yes, Master. Many consoles have voice recognition sensors built into their systems so that only selected individuals can unlock them.
How do you know the code?
Condescending explanation. Oh, yes, Master. The code is Maintenance Control Voice Print ID R1B5. But unless the maintenance officer speaks the code, it is useless.
Then how can I bypass?
Answer. Master, you cannot. You are trapped here just as I am. There is nothing to do, except patiently wait for whatever the future has in store for us.
I'll be going now. Excuse me. Yeah, so now my sword will do even a little bit more damage to droids. hate those damn gas grenades. And there really isn't anything I can do about them. Okay, so what do we get here? Burst of speed, which can be very useful. So now we get to deal with bigger droids. Which my enhanced speed does give me a slight advantage over. You need to flee because I'm running pretty low on health right now. Also, it would be nice if my force would regenerate. That way I could hit that repair ball like that.
Finished the sonic imprint sensor prototype for the mining droids. Everyone knows they need an upgrade. The sensor should allow me to issue voice commands to them rather than manually adjusting their routine each time the mining specifications change. I've been keeping the sensor in the maintenance workshop for the time being. I wanted to test it first by recording and playing back some simple voice commands. Finished my examination of the droids from the Ebon Hawk freighter. The T3 unit looked like it had shut itself down. The protocol droid, however, made up for it. It talked my ear off for most of the hour, asking questions about the facility, the personnel, and so on. Still, it wanted to make itself useful, so I put it to work until its master wakes up from the med bay. It seems to have some skills in speaking to droid behavior cores, so there's been some trouble with some of the mining droids, so I'm signing off. Been speaking to the protocol droid about the Jedi and med bay. I thought they'd all gone away or been killed in the Jedi Civil War. The droid told me that his master is the only Jedi he knows of in all the galaxy. That the Jedi had served in the Mandalorian Wars almost 10 years ago. That would have meant that the Jedi served under Revan for a time. That can't be good. Everyone knows that all the Jedi who followed Revan fell to the dark side.
Not true.
Been too busy to enter a log for a while. There's been more and more accidents since that Jedi arrived. The miners are starting to get restless, especially Korta. Korta said the exchange is offering a huge bounty on Jedi Knights and that we can make a fortune if we sell the Jedi to Nar Shaddaa. Security shut down that idea pretty quick. But I don't think Korta and his men are gonna give up that easy. I mentioned the trouble to the Jedi's protocol droid. He seemed concerned about his master's safety. I told the droid not to worry. The Korta wouldn't... The maintenance check on the droids didn't help. If anything, the accidents have increased. Security interrogated me about the droids and they weren't too happy with my answers. I don't understand it though. These aren't combat models. They shouldn't even know how to attack. I can't help but think, what if somebody staged the initial trouble with the mining droids just to get them all sent to maintenance, and then did something to them? I think security's right. Someone's trying to sabotage this facility and they're using the droids to do it. But why? When the dock officer reported the droids repairing the Ebon Hawk, I'd sought a voice print ID on the droid console system. Someone ordered them to repair that freighter. But I can't find a trace of the order anywhere. If anyone tries that again, they won't be able to do it from this terminal unless I let them. The voice print should cut any user off from the central functions unless I give the code.
Think okay.
So, you're in maintenance. Then maybe you can tell me what's going on with these droids.
Sir, I don't know. It's like their behavior cores are undergoing binary decay, but I can't find the source. This shouldn't be happening.
Well, that's reassuring. You better give me some...
Sir, these droids aren't combat models.
Are you blind? What? So I want you to... In the meantime...
Yes, sir.
Idiot.
So we need to find the third. Force speed is quite useful.
Found anything? So they are still alive. But the dormitory comm isn't picking up anything. Is there any way to get to them? Voice print? Great. That means he'd have to speak the code. He's dead, right? There's ways to beat voice prints, though. If you can get samples of his voice and the right words, you should be able to fake the voice print code, if you know what it is. You know, I overheard the maintenance officer getting chewed out by the security officer. You might want to check the security office on this level, and maybe there's samples of the code in the maintenance officer's holologs. If you can... Well, that's a start. See if you can find any
Well, we found at least 2 of what we need.
Officer reported the droids repairing the Ebon Hawk. Someone ordered if anyone tries that again.
I'm trying to think. Got at least 2.
Finish the sonic imp. The sensor should alert. I've been keeping the sensor. Finish my examination of the protocol droid. Still, there's been some trouble. Been speaking to the droid told me that would have meant that the... Been too busy to... Kotor said the security shut down. I mentioned the trouble to...
I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night here. I'm starting to feel pretty tired. Hopefully you have enjoyed watching the playthrough, and I'll be happy to stream more for you if you have.